Well, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and I just thought I would do another discussion video. And the title of this is going to be called, You Don't Necessarily Have to Learn Anything, which could be a misleading title for what I'm actually going to talk about here. But I've noticed something lately in the past few years along the lines of documentaries. And the big discussion around documentaries in the past while has been, what is one supposed to learn from this? Like, what are you learning from watching this documentary? How will this information help you, perform a job better, or get good grades on some sort of exam, or write a factually accurate essay on something. And 100% there's a time and place for that, and that is needed. But if you rewind the clock back several years ago, I'd say about 6, 7, 8 years ago, something like that, maybe a little sooner, but generally within that time frame, back when, before every single thing to do with entertainment went online and streaming, when there was still somewhat of a popularity for cable networks and satellite TV, things like that, there was this, and I think, I used to kind of laugh at it, think it was stupid at the time, and then almost in a way now sort of look back at it with a pleasant nostalgia. But there was a big boom in lifestyle docu-series, television shows about people's lifestyle. There was everything from a lot of different things. There was like the people that lived in the mountains, the outdoor people that went outdoors and did, hunting, fishing, living in the wilds, things like that. There was the gold mining people. There was the people that fixed cars and flipped cars and vehicles, motorbikes, and there were just all kinds. Again, all these different lifestyles that were being at the center of attention when it came to mainstream television. And yet, if you look back at those shows, you didn't really learn, like, none of the information that you got out of it you could really successfully use to go do anything yourself with it, really. I mean, there, of course, it was borderline supposed to be educational in some way, shape, or form, so there definitely is some valuable information that you could go out and utilize, but it's far from the information that's needed to actually make a decent splash in the pool of whatever sort of work or lifestyle or just anything to do with it that you would be going out if you were to go out and use the information shown on there and try to do it yourself. But what it did do was represent and show a lifestyle, and what you learned from it, what you learned from it was entirely up to you. It was nuanced in a way where you could, each different person watching it could learn something different from watching the same thing, because it depended on their perspective. And I find that documentaries a while back too, just straight up documentaries, used to be a lot more like that. It used to be more about lifestyle. It used to be more about capturing the emotions, as well as just the overall the way that people feel in the overall lifestyle around any given thing. Even if it was something that had to deal more in facts, like a history documentary or wildlife, science, whatever, anything like that, there was, of course, the facts, so you were learning. There was like a few key things that you were learning. But other than that, it was interviews and on-site footage of people doing whatever it was they were doing, and it was more there to I'm trying to veer away from using the word entertain, but I guess that's kind of the only word I can think of at the time to use. But in an entertaining way, you were being absorbed into the lifestyle and into the thoughts of the people that did this thing, whatever it may be, that was being featured in the documentary. And I find that when I'm having conversations with people about different ideas and things like that, and when I'm out there looking around for interesting documentaries to watch, I find that there's almost an aversion to that now, almost like it's almost like that, what I'm talking about that happened a few years ago is all but became forgotten now, in the sense where it's like what is somebody going to learn from this? Like, will they be able to go out and use this information in the field, or will this help somebody pass their exam and whatnot? And I highly disagree with that. I think that as somebody who loves documentaries, as somebody who tries to do documentary type stuff here on this YouTube channel, and that, I mean, I myself personally, unless there's something that somebody says that I'm interviewing that one can learn a direct fact from, or there's something that I stumble upon that I know a fact about that I can just throw out there while I'm talking, or write in text over the picture, then there's very rarely any intention of helping anybody pass, to helping anybody gather factual like things that they could go use to pass some sort of test, or go find a career in anything. I'm more trying to capture the lifestyle, basically, is what I'm trying to I'm trying to capture the aesthetic, if that makes any sense, but the aesthetic of a lifestyle that could be used as inspiration for somebody who it resonates with, or who that is interested in it, can then be inspired to go out and cultivate something like that for themselves. That's sort of that's what I try to do personally, and I'm going to say something that a lot of people might shake their heads at, because there's an old saying, you know, the facts are the facts. It doesn't matter what any given opinion is on it. The facts are the facts, and that's very true, and I highly agree with that statement. And in this modern age of social media, there's way too much overt opinion out there, and people hold they hold their own opinion at way too high of a status for what it really is, because it's so easy for anybody, including me here, by the way, to just go state their opinion about something, and because they have the ability to do that with social media, they think it holds more relevance, or that it's more important than it actually is. So I know that is a problem in the modern day world, and I know it's something that a lot of level-headed people are rebelling against, and which I fully agree with them there, but they'll resort to the statement that facts are the facts. It doesn't matter what your opinion is, and so that's true, but I'm gonna riff on that a little bit, in the sense that I think that facts are facts, but thoughts about facts can be very reasonably different without it being, you know, in conflict with somebody else, or without it deviating from the facts. Like, if you think about it, let's take two subjects. Let's take history, and then let's take science. And you could have a documentary where you interview 5 to 10 people who are experts in those fields of whatever, you know, whatever sub-genre of science it may be, or history, or whatever. It doesn't matter, but it's one of them, it's something, and you take 5 to 10 people who are experts in that particular field, and you interview them. You ask them a few questions, and you have the camera on them, and you go around and you film them performing their work. The facts in which they're speaking of will be the same, because the facts are the facts, but their thoughts and their process of thinking about it and the process in which they conduct their work around it are a lot of times drastically different. Because whereas a fact is a fact, but you can look at it any way that you want, for better or worse, and if you're somebody who works in the field that is discovering those facts or is working with that fact in some way, shape, or form, you can conduct that work in a way that's still very productive, that's very, very different from somebody who's in the exact same field as you doing the same thing, working with the same fact. So a documentary, in my opinion, isn't like, there are, and like I said, there are times when it, like, if you are wanting to pass some sort of test, or you are legitimately not interested in any sort of inspiring or emotional view into somebody else's lifestyle, and you just want to pass this test or cultivate some sort of career, or get a paycheck or get a recognition of some kind for achieving something, then yeah, that's what textbooks are for. Okay, right? Like, there are textbooks that have very little emotional value to them. They're just little small paragraphs that are as short as possible to get to the fact as quick as they possibly can, so that you can highlight that or memorize it or write it down or copy it, whatever you need to do to pass whatever you need to pass with that information. But a documentary, and there's also little small essay videos in that do that, and that's sort of what they're for, and we need that. I'm not saying to abolish that or anything. Like, there are 100% circumstances that is needed, but a documentary isn't supposed to do that. It's supposed to have some facts, but as I said, there can be a handful of facts that somebody can walk away and be like, huh, that's kind of cool, I watched this documentary the other day and I learned this, or I learned that. And that's great. That's definitely part of it. But it's not the whole story, and you don't have to have an hour long, hour and a half long, 2 hour long, or continuing series on that. And that's not what I think ever drew people in to those sorts of stories and that form of media. It's more, you can take the information, you can take the lifestyle, and you can take the approach to this person or that person's work however you want, for better or for worse. It's pretty neutral. It should be pretty neutral in that sense. But it's to inspire, it's to, for one, present you with something that it could resonate with you, it could not, and if it's not, then you just don't continue watching it, or you don't walk away with anything of much value from it. So, but if it does interest you, then it lures you in to be more absorbed into that lifestyle, to be more absorbed into how people that are also into the same thing conduct their work, and inspire you to go do something like that for yourself. And if you're a filmmaker, then it inspires you to find people and places and things that interest you in that same sort of way, that you can then go out and document, you can then go out and tell stories about and film and interview people about and whatnot. So it's not necessarily just about the facts when it comes to a documentary. And the reason I'm making this video is because documentaries are getting really bad. There's still a few really good ones out there, but they're getting very boring, they're getting very bland, and they just aren't resonating at a very high level, at least with me anyway. And I find that when I start observing things and looking into it, and talking to people about it, I think what's being missed in this current era is the lifestyle and the people and the thoughts that are involved in these things, and not just straight facts that it'd be easier to just go get a textbook and read a tiny paragraph this big that has, like I said, almost zero emotional value, just because it's getting to the facts right now so you can memorize it easily and copy it down, and, as I said, pass your test with it, right? But that's not what a documentary is supposed to be. So I won't talk much longer about it now. Those are just some thoughts that were on my mind and that I wanted to make a discussion video about. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic in the comment section down below, and I thank you very much for watching. Please come back for more.